start kind of looking at the forecast now that they're saying 6, 8, 10 inches of snow, possibly Saturday night into Sunday, all that stuff, and kind of thinking about that?
Oh, no, I mean, we played in snow games here, unexpected snow, all cold games. So to us, it really doesn't matter. We're ready to play in whatever kind of weather comes. So we feel like it's an advantage for us.
Packers running back Aaron Jones on the possibility there will be snow. Now, if it doesn't snow on Sunday and only on Saturday, there won't be snow on the field. It's only an issue if it snows during the game because they keep the field covered.
Yes,
but
and they got heaters underneath it.
It could be very interesting for some folks in Green Bay. They're already extending the offer of $12 an hour to show up and shovel snow because they got to get it out of the stands and put it somewhere so people can actually, sit down and watch the game. But they're looking at up to 10 inches of snow Saturday night. What a shame that's not the Saturday night game. I mean, who doesn't love a good snow globe game?
I'm with you. It is. It looks great on TV. Now, it doesn't always mean it's the best football. And I actually think for this one, I don't want to see snow on the field during the game because I want to be able to see Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers make magic and be able to move around and do the things that we've seen them do so often. So,
Patrick Mahomes can do it. If he can do it, they should be able to do it.
Well, yeah, they probably could, but I guess I'm just saying it takes away a little bit of the sexy factor of things like that. That's where I worry about it.
And it is a distraction, too, because even though they've made technological advancements to help us all understand exactly where the ball is, it is harder to enjoy the game and follow the game when the snow has covered up all the numbers and hash marks and lines on the screen. But that likely won't happen on Sunday. They'll deal with it Saturday night. Let's focus on the running games, though. We know Aaron Jones needs to have a big game to balance out the passing game and complement Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Jones at times this year has played like an MVP candidate. Not enough to be an MVP candidate, but at times he has.
Right.
The Seattle running game.
Yeah.
Right. You were a big proponent of the Seahawks having their passing game taken away by the Eagles and being forced to show they can run. And you still feel that same way this week.
I do, definitely. I mean, hey, listen, the running backs of the Seahawks last week, it was 17 rushes for 19 yards. That's why when the game was going on in the third and fourth quarter a few times, I was yelling at the TV going, why do we have 9 guys at the line of scrimmage like this is Franco Harris and the Pittsburgh Steelers in the mid-'70s? I didn't understand it. So if I am Mike Pettine, who not only has corners who can play man, but he plays a lot of creative zones behind it, I would err on playing those creative zones and keeping people deep. I'm not going to let DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett go bombs away over the top. Seattle thrives on the big play. They're really a team that's not really known to go, 10-play drive and, bam, 5 yards here, 8 yards here, 5 yards here, 10 yards here. That's not what they do. They're a little bit just, hey, run for 5, run for 4, get a first down, whatever it may be. Let's take a deep shot down the field. If you look at a lot of their scoring drives, they're always like 5-play, 75-yard drives, things like that. I mean, right? I would want to see, can Marshawn really carry the load? Can that offensive line really get it done? Green Bay does have a weak run defense, but it's been better late.
Is part of the effort by the Eagles and possibly by the Packers to take away the running game avoiding being the victim of a rejuvenated Marshawn Lynch? I mean, is it just the threat of Marshawn Lynch having a turn-back-the-clock game? Is that what's causing him to do it?
I don't know. No, I think it's really an old-school coach in Jim Schwartz who always wants to take away the run. And the Seahawks are famous for, of course, Pete Carroll ball, where he wants to run and dominate the line of scrimmage.
You go in and you say, run and stop the run, you're hired.
Well, you're right. but the
may not work out, but it's how you get the job.
May not work out, but you get hired. Yes, no doubt about it. So, yeah, I think that's what Jim Schwartz was thinking a little bit. He was trying to give some different looks that way, but yeah, it came back to burn him and bite him in the butt in the end. And that, yes, I am, the Packers towards the end of the season, their run defense, I complained about 2 guys in the middle a lot. Hey, Kenny Clark, the 2 Smiths, Preston and Za'Darius are phenomenal. The other 2 guys on that line, Lowry and Lancaster, they were underwhelming for like the first 8 to 10 games of the year. But they really came on towards the end, and their defense kind of tightened up in the run game. So if I'm them, that would give me, at least if I'm Mike Pettine, the guts to go, okay, I'm going to let my front see if they can hang in there against these big boys who are not totally 100% in Seattle's offensive line. And I'm going to keep safeties deep and Savage deep and, Adrian Amos over the top of DK Metcalf, especially early on, and make Seattle have a hard time finding some continuity or some explosive plays on the offensive side of the ball.
And the Seahawks are expecting more from Marshawn Lynch. He had 6 carries, 7 yards against the Eagles and a touchdown, but he's been back long enough that he could be closer to football shape this weekend, but also fresh legs.
Yeah.
There's a sweet spot there where you've done enough to get yourself back in football shape, but you're not as banged up as everyone else because you haven't played all year long.
Right.
The question is, can the Seahawks survive long enough for Lynch to get to that point? And at his age, what is his maximum?
That's
now?
the big question, I think. I think you're exact. That's where I would go. Okay, yes, we're going to give him more, but you got to be careful, I think, about how much more. If we're going to go like 25, 30 times, well, if you did that, I would bet he fumbles at some point or something bad happens. I do. I don't think he's going to be quite ready to just carry the load like Beast Mode 2013 all over again. I do think we'll see more of him because of the weather and things like that, and you hear Pete Carroll talking about it. But I still think that if Seattle's going to win this game, it will be with Russell Wilson making magic, as we've seen him do all year. Seattle just wants to get this game into the fourth quarter and have it a one-score game, and they just believe that their players will make plays, and Pete Carroll, his energy, and Russell Wilson will come through. That's really how they played the whole year. And that's why I'm picking them, and I don't feel comfortable about that, but I picked them to win, and I'm scared of that.
Here's the thing. If this game was being played in Seattle,
yeah,
I would firmly believe the Seahawks are going to win.
Right.
Firmly, without question. Could be wrong, but at least I would believe it. Lambeau Field, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I really have no idea, because I think both teams this year have had a little bit of that, as you would call horseshoe. Is it horseshoe up the butt or shamrock up the butt?
We got to go with both. I go with both.
Maybe one of each, right? Two rockets and a shamrock and a horseshoe.
You're really lucky if you get them all up there.
But it's the full house, literally. But really, both teams have that vibe.
Yes.
Because, I've been asked this question all week long. How in the hell did the Packers go 13-3?
It's one of the most underwhelming 2 seeds I feel like I've ever seen. I mean, do you feel that way?
Yes.
Okay.
And they were 2 inches away from a 1 seed if Jacob Hollister scores the touchdown in Week 17.
You're exactly right. Yeah. Or we're sitting there watching them get dominated in the first half of the Lions game, and Aaron Rodgers being off, and we're going, oh my gosh, they're gonna be end up having a much tougher route here as far as the playoffs concerned. But they rebounded, played tough, and found another way to win a close, ugly type football game.
Thursday was my heavy psychoanalysis day, and you gave me a hard time for it. But there's one lingering point that we need to reiterate.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that the Packers' likelihood of winning is going to hinge on what happens.
I know you do.
Saturday.
Yeah.
If the Vikings win, I think the Packers are far more likely to win, because they'll know they don't have to come back here to San Francisco where they got stomped by the 49ers. And if the 49ers win, I think it swings to the Seahawks. I really do.
Listen, I think there's a lot to that. No doubt about it. That could definitely juice a team up when you see that the night before the game in the hotel, and you're going, oh my gosh, we got a chance to host the NFC Championship game next week against a team we beat twice to go to the Super Bowl. Yes. That could be good. It could be bad, because then your mind starts to go to the future and you start to think about that game, and then all of a sudden
the Seahawks get that edge too.
Yeah, they do.
If they win that game and the Vikings have beaten the 49ers, they're going to host it. But I think for the 49ers, the pendulum doesn't swing as far.
Yeah.
Like, they got no problem coming back here and playing the 49ers. It almost feels destined they're going to play the 49ers again.
Yeah.
So what? Hey, we host the game. So what? You know what? And the way the Vikings played them late in the game, maybe they'd rather play the 49ers again, because if the Vikings can continue what they did late in the fourth quarter, it's going to be a different outcome. But I think it's going to affect the Packers more. I think mentally. And I say that, and this isn't just pulling something out of the air. 5 years ago, when the Colts beat the Broncos in Denver in the Divisional Round, remember that game?
Yeah, sure.
And then the Colts went to
New England.
It was
for
the Deflategate game.
Yeah, right.
Demaryius Thomas told me at the Super Bowl that he knew there were guys in the locker room for the Broncos that didn't want to go to New England the next week. They didn't want to go there. And at some point, that's going to affect your ability to check the box to earn a trip to a place you don't want to go play.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, listen, the part of being a good team and a good athlete is being mentally tough and not even letting those kind of thoughts creep into your mind. And then, of course, wanting to accept those challenges of going to New England. So, yeah, I mean, when you hear things like that, you're not surprised they lost. The big question is, do you think, what's the Mike Florio gut tell you? Do you think the Packers are going to be able to run the ball on what I call the psychos of the Seattle Seahawks? Because that's what they got, is just a bunch of psychos who run around big and want to knock your head off. Do you think they can run the ball?
I think they can, but it's going to be, the old cliche, run to set up the pass. I think we're going to see some pass to set up the run.
You think that's going to be that way, backwards?
Get them on their heels with some quick strikes to Davante Adams, and then maybe get the defense to refocus a bit and open up some running.
You know what, Mike? You say that, and I go, I think I agree with you, because I would think Pete Carroll, being old school again, old school coaches traditionally, if you look around the NFL, they're still in we're going to stop the run type mode. Pete Carroll's still like that. Yeah, I think you're probably right. They'll probably have the line of scrimmage stacked early on. They're not going to let Aaron Jones go. And, yeah, Green Bay might have to use play-action pass, get them to back off, and then they can get back to the run later in the game.
How many times have we seen that this year where Davante Adams is targeted over and over again early in the game?
You're right.
And then it adjusts, and the rest of the offense is open.
Green Bay's first 15, first 12, that's where they win a lot of the games we've talked about this year. They jump out on teams 14-0, 17-3, and then they hold on ugly after that. But their starting of their game between LaFleur's game planning and then, of course, Rodgers' ability to make plays when maybe the game planning doesn't go the right way and him coming out throwing darts all over the place, yeah, they feed off of that early. And if they get the Seahawks down early, that will be tough to overcome in Green Bay.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.